Hello, and how are you doing today? Probably not so good if you're a gamer like me. Today's gaming market is filled with live service games and battle passes and locked off and drip-fed content. This new shift in direction in game studios are taking towards developing games is really starting to take a toll on the modern gamer's mind. Basically, everyone's starting to get tired of this shit.
Shut up, bitch.
Some are even saying that the next game market crash is going to happen. Like when games were starting to be effortlessly crafted and shot out in 1983. Sound familiar? Anyways, in lieu of playing these new shitty games and paying $60 for them, instead I wanted to spend $60 on a game that was released about 10 years ago and had one of the top 5 most disliked videos on YouTube. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Back in the day when this thing was released, it received a lot of hate, and as of late, I've been going back and playing a lot of these games that have received a lot of hate and were, air quotes, terrible back then. But nowadays, I feel like if a lot of these games were re-released today, people would be very appreciative of the way that they just handled it. Even though it wasn't really what gamers wanted back then, I just feel like it's not about the settings and everything. It's about the effort of not having to shoehorn in that battle pass and get that extra little squeeze of money out of the player. Oh, yeah. So we're going to be going over the whole game, and I'm going to tell you if it's still worth 60 whole fucking dollars. And yes, this game is still like $60 because I wanted to get the Modern Warfare Remastered campaign. In this video, I'm basically just going to tell you whether the game is still worth 60 whole dollars. And first, we're going to be going over some of the cons of the game. And then, we're going to be going over some of the pros of the game. So, without further ado, we're going to get right into this list of cons that I have conjured up in the brewing pot. So, the first thing on my cons list is that the weapons feel inconsistent and weak. This is due to the amount of hits it takes to kill an enemy sometimes. I played through the campaign on normal difficulty, whatever. Not a sweaty-ass gamer like some of you. But even then, it felt like some of the enemies were bullet sponges, taking like almost half a magazine to kill sometimes, which is ridiculous. And paired with the weapons not feeling very strong and epic, the weapons kind of sounded like garbage. If I farted into my microphone, it'd have a beefier sound design than half the weapons in this game. It adds to that feeling of the weapons not really feeling very heavy or gritty.
When someone asks me to hit the gritty, okay, I'll hit the gritty.
And as well as the weapons not feeling good, the exosuits in the game feel useless. Okay, the exosuits feel pretty useless most of the time, besides a couple of gaps where you have to jump over like twice, and it's like too much of a gap for you to sprint and just jump like a normal person. And you do that like twice in the game, from what I can remember. This may have been due to the fact that people at the time were getting very tired of the futuristic setting and exosuits in Call of Duty. I remember people were all about, let's get the game back to boots on the ground. Ooh, yeah. But yeah, so I'm guessing that they dialed it back in order to receive less backlash from the player base. You can make a game with exosuits and it still just be just as good as boots on the ground and have fluid gameplay. Just look at a game like Titanfall. If you're interested in looking at that, I have a very short little video on it if you want to go check it out. So now we're going to get into the pros of the game. The cutscenes feel nice. The cutscenes in the game feel good and intriguing, well thought out and well choreographed. Most of Call of Duty games nail this on Most of Call of Duty games nail this on the head though. Like cutscenes are their strong point most of the time. Aside from the frame rate's locked at like 30 to 25 frames a second, and it's not really noticeable for most people, but for me, I'm like, just gives me the ick sometimes. But the lighting also makes them really just pop out. As well as, I didn't encounter one single loading screen during this whole game, and I'm pretty sure they're just integrated within the cutscenes, which is super cool, nice to have that, and it's like keeps the player intrigued and engaged in the game without having to look at a fucking black screen while you're waiting on your next level to load, which is like super appreciated. For even back then, that stuff is like still pretty impressive today. And the story also feels really thought out. If you like lore in your games, you're going to find a little bit of that here. That also brings me to, if you don't pay attention to a lot of the cutscenes and are really dialed in, you're kind of going to get lost in the sauce a little bit. Some people may not like this because, you know, obviously no one likes feeling lost in the sauce, and some people just want to sit back and relax and enjoy a simple like storyline. But if you are into the more deeper, okay, it's not really like super lore heavy, but there's stuff there, so it's appreciated on a level if you like that kind of stuff.
Don't care, don't care, don't care.
And if you want more content that explains a little bit more lore, makes you feel a little bit more invested, there's a ton of side content here. Like all of what is on screen on the back, if it doesn't have the little golden little triangle or square on it, it's, you know, it's all side content, all of it. And it's really appreciated because the side content is so cool. Like one of the ones that I actually did was one where you kind of sneak around an enemy ship and you're trying to get like, I honestly can't remember what you were trying to do, but I just remember it feeling kind of cool because you're within the enemy and they just don't know you're there because you're in a little suit, which is in typical COD fashion. I feel like there's always one of those missions in a game, but in this one it was really nailed on the head on like, oh man, am I gonna get discovered? Oh, I should move like the enemy. You just get really invested in it, and it's done super well here. Even though I only played a couple of the missions, they felt really thought out, and they felt like they could have been part of the main game if they wanted to be. As well as it just feeling kind of nice to have that, you also have the incentive of doing them because you unlock weapons and stuff through doing these that you can utilize in the loadout section where you can create your loadout. And to get more weapons, you complete the side missions. And, you know, so there's a little bit of incentive to do it, and it's not just there. So if you actually want to approach your missions with a little bit different weaponry, it's there, and it's a really nice and appreciated choice. That leads me to my next point of there being a lot of mission variety. Don't get me wrong, you're still just going from point A to point B, shooting bad guys, but the terrain you're traversing and trekking through is different every mission. Like you go to a completely different planet every mission, and I'd hope that feels different, so at least they got that. As well as the set pieces here, it's Call of Duty, so you're going to get some Hollywood action, Michael Bay level bullshit happening all the time, which, I mean, if you're into that kind of stuff, there's a lot of that, and it's really cool, I guess. It makes you feel like you're part of the movie, like the Call of Duty games always want you to do. So, and speaking of the Call of Duty games and their big budget action scenes, what goes into the voice acting? The voice acting is like, all right, it's subpar at times, but other times it really hits, so it's kind of inconsistent, and the character design is kind of the same way. There's some characters that you care about, like Ethan and Salt, and everybody else is just kind of like whatever and don't really give a shit about you because it's Call of Duty. So, I mean, if you want a good character design game, then go play like Red Dead Redemption 2 and spend your $60 there. But what you won't get in Red Dead Redemption 2 is some of these futuristic weapons, I guess. And I know I harped on them earlier and said that they were kind of dog shit, which is kind of true. But there are a couple that stand out, like the Eraser. The Eraser is just so like, it's just so good, you know? As far as the campaign goes, though, that's pretty much all I can say about it without spoiling too much. I will say that it does have a lot of character to it, and you can tell that the devs actually put in a lot of effort into it, so it kind of sucks that it did get shat on as much as it did. But we're going to move on to the zombies section of the game. Zombies in the COD community is a pretty big deal and a big area of debate. Some people live to play the zombies mode, and others live to play by the multiplayer. If you're passionate about zombies, you're going to get a pretty mixed bag here. I only played through it once, and it was meh. I mean, you still have all your basic stuff like perks, drops, turning the power on, and drops like insta-kill from the zombies, but it feels a little off here. I do like the setting though. They really went for something different, and depending on how you stand on zombies, you'll either love it or you'll hate it. It's a little hard to tell what is what, especially when it comes to all the new additions like coins, tickets, and the way perks are handled. I didn't really like it because I have monkey brain, and I couldn't really tell what was what. Overall, it was yite, I guess, you know? And if you're not a big zombies fan and you're more into the multiplayer of the game and you want to relive the Infinite Warfare multiplayer, there are still people that you can find matches with and get into matches with. Which is nice, I guess, if you want to just feel like you're an idiot and feel very slow and old. Because I don't know how the fuck I used to play this, but it is so... I don't know how to describe it. It just feels wrong. It feels wrong. I'm more of a Battlefield kind of guy, so maybe that's why. But yeah, it's still there if you want it. that brings me to the pretty much the conclusion of the review. Is it worth $60?
This is fucked. This is not right. This is not cool. This is fucking bullshit.
For me, I look at it as you're spending $30 for one campaign and $30 for another, because you if you spend the $60, then you get the Modern Warfare campaign remastered as well, and there is still multiplayer active on Modern Warfare Remastered as well. So if you like that stuff, then yeah, I guess it's kind of worth it if you look at it like that. But if you look at it as $60 for just the base game, no, it is definitely not worth it. I don't know. It depends on how much you value single player versus multiplayer, I guess, because like I said, there are still players, but there's not very many. Yeah, that's pretty much the end of the review. Like, comment, subscribe if you'd like me to do one over Modern Warfare Remastered as well, because I have it now, I guess. Like, whatever. It's not a big deal. And sorry for not uploading for a while. I was kind of just taking a break. I was in I broke my hand a while back, so I was in a brace for a while. Once I got it off, I was finally able to do some more stuff. So I just kind of wanted to live life a little bit. But I really appreciate all the support, anybody who subscribed to me, family members mostly. But yeah, I appreciate all of you very, very much. And yeah, y'all have a beautiful, beautiful day.